This clip of the Texas Bucket List is brought to you by Spirit of Texas Bank, Slovacek Sausage, Germania Insurance, We Rent It, and RV Source. Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. You know, the history of our great state goes well beyond 1836, back to a time when natives roamed the great prairies of our state. Evidence of their culture and history can be found just about anywhere in Texas. But over in Paint Rock, it's so evident, they named the town after it. Pulling into Paint Rock, you get a sense of what the bustling town used to be. With only 273 residents, the Concho County seat is one of the least populated county seats in Texas. And while the beautiful historic courthouse remains, not much else has. But these old buildings aren't the earliest signs of any civilization here. For that, you have to travel a few miles north, cross the Wright Cattle Guard, and visit the ranch of Fred and Kay Campbell.
Well, hi, welcome to Paint Rock, Texas.
Well, thank you,
You've
Mrs. Kimball.
come to see the pictographs.
Yes, ma'am.
That is great. This is my favorite place, and I'm glad that you came to share it with us.
Glad to be here. Before getting to see what makes Paint Rock so peculiar, Kay likes to tell a tale, like any Texan, about her family history.
I would like for you to meet my family. This is my grandfather, D.E. Sims, Dunlap Edward Sims, who came here back in the 1870s trying to find out more about Southern Plains nomads.
And after looking at a few artifacts,
This is the only arrowhead that I have ever found in my whole 88 years right there.
it was time to see Paint Rock.
If you think this is impressive, you should come down and look at the real thing with me.
Let's go.
Come on, let's go. Let's go, everybody.
Upon arriving to this majestic rock bluff, covered in pictographs, keeping up with Mrs. Campbell is the first order of business.
When you got a tiger by the tail, you got to keep up.
Kay is sort of the curator of Paint Rock. Her grandfather, D.E. Sims, came upon this site while doing his research and took it upon himself to be the caretaker.
The people who came here to camp after the Indians were people who hated the Indians. So you see where the Indians have written their stories, and you're not going to preserve them for posterity because you hate them. They're your enemy. So you shoot at them and you write your name on them and you try to ruin them. So when my grandpa came and saw the pictographs were being ruined, he said, I cannot go back to Missouri. I've got to stay here and guard the pictographs.
Nearly half a mile of this 75-foot tall bluff, just a few hundred yards from the Concho River, is covered with over 1,500 pictographs.
It's believed there could have been as many as 300 different cultures that would have camped here nomadically over the 12,000 years that they were using this for one of their major campgrounds in this area.
Each incredible drawing has its own story.
They thought that the bird was capable of taking their prayers up to their sun god, and so this is a good example of the birds, and you'll see lots of pictures of birds as we go along.
Of course, Kay will remind you what you need to remember when it comes to the research done on these drawings.
You have to remember that nearly everything I'm telling you is conjecture. But since it's my conjecture, it's right, huh?
With Kay's family history, she's heard the stories and theories of what these symbols mean her entire life.
While the boys had to go work on the ranch, well, I got to come and listen to the people talk about pictographs. And I have just been a pictograph fiend ever since.
I can imagine.
All my life.
Hearing what other people think the pictographs portray is of particular interest to her.
One little kid said, oh, look, they made a smiley face. Isn't that cute?
Of course, I was no expert when it came to deciphering the drawings.
But as far as we know, that wasn't the case.
Not necessarily, but anyway.
You're leaving that open. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that conjecture, that's our key word. That's your vocabulary word for the day, young man.
Your song of choice for the Indians sounds like it's conjecture.
Oh, heck.
After our walk along the cliff face,
The happiest days of my childhood were spent down here at the spring.
we came upon some flowing water that painted us into a corner when it came to pictographs.
There are no more pictographs past this, and the reason is the spring. See, that's where the women prepared the meal and kept the kids and everything while the men were down here doing the important things like singing and dancing and painting. And the women were down there doing dumb things like taking care of kids and cooking.
Kay's passion for this place is infectious.
If I were a pictograph painter, that's what I would paint.
It's very complicated.
It is. It has lots of detail in it.
And her stories keep you silent as she shares with you the most delightful details.
Ain't that beautiful?
Because for Kay, this is her connection to the Lone Star State.
Somebody told me a long time ago, love isn't love till you give it away. And you know, if you're sitting on something wonderful and won't let anybody see it, it loses its value. If you enjoy something, you want other people to enjoy it with you, and I think that's it.